constantly raining, like torrential rain. It was thundering pretty much all the time. There were gale force winds, and we were stuck in this island where we didn't have any internet connection. Hey guys, it's me, Kesvi. Welcome. And today we're going to be talking about something different. So far I've been giving you guys tips, so we're going to talk about my first solo trip abroad. I think I've said in my previous videos that my first solo trip was actually to Borneo in 2014. I had just finished university. I just finished university and I was really struggling to get a job and I was feeling kind of useless, so I thought, well, I want to do something different. Why not try doing like some voluntary work? I found Camps International after doing some research and I really loved their program. The Borneo program itself, you go to 4 places. So you go to Bongkud, you go to Mantanani Island, and then you go to Tinangol, and the last place is Batu. So I'm going to be talking about the first 3 places because they were all very similar, but you did different things in all of them. I'm going to do another video on Batu, so take a look out for that one. Okay, so let's get on with the video, shall we? Before we went to each of our camps, we did stay in Kota Kinabalu, which, if you don't know, is the capital of Sabah, which is the region of Borneo we were in at the time. So after we'd stay there for a couple of days while everyone arrived, we then moved on to Bongkud, which was our first camp. I'm gonna have a map. I'm gonna insert a map just here for you guys. We stayed in that camp for about 2 weeks. It was a very simple camp. It consists of a longhouse, which we slept in, so we all like shared a room with one other person, a kitchen area which the cooks used mainly, and then our resting area which had some hammocks in. It was really nice, very quiet. The village itself was very small, and we were actually helping them build a kindergarten. We were one of the first teams to work on this project. We're actually doing the base of the kindergarten building. So we'd fill those yellow buckets up with cement, water and gravel, obviously all in separate buckets, and we take them over. At the bottom of the screen you'll see this plank. We'd walk over that plank with these buckets, and then we'd mix the water, cement and gravel together, then transport that mixture to where you can see they're mixing the cement in that photo. Behind it is where they're starting to lay the base of the building, and so we'd move the mixture over to there. It was really difficult. Like, imagine doing this in like 30-degree heat every single day. There's no shelters, I mean, apart from where you're sitting and drinking like water and stuff. There's no like mixing, like cement mixing barrel things that they have in construction sites. There's nothing electronic. We're doing this all by shovel. And I remember I was quite, I mean, I'm not that strong now, but I was quite weak at the time, and I used to get really frustrated with myself that I couldn't like hold 2 buckets at a time and walk over this plank because it was just too heavy for me, and I just felt like I was slowing everyone down. It was a time, you know? So while we were at each of these camps, we didn't just do project work. We also got to spend time with the community. So in Bongkud itself, they're a Catholic community, so we got to go to church with them on one Sunday and go to their Sunday market as well, which was really cool. And another thing we got to do was teach the local kids. So we split up into pairs and we would teach the kids for like half a day. And these kids like, didn't really know too much English. They knew like odd words, and they could say like simple sentences. And we put on Let It Go, the song from Frozen, and I swear to God, these kids knew every single word to this song. Every single word. And it was so funny. Like, so as well as actually spending time in the community, we also got to see like local sites. So one of the sites we got to see was the Kundasang War Memorial, which was actually a really heartbreaking story, and one that I'd never heard before because they don't teach it in schools in England. Out of the thousands of English and Australian soldiers that started this death march, I remember them saying that only 6 actually survived it, which is an insane amount of death. If you guys ever have time, like actually research it. It's a really insane story. So after we went to the Kundasang War Memorial, we also then went to the town, the local town there, and we saw something that I don't think any of us in that group had ever seen before. They were actually selling baby animals in these small cages. Like honestly, they were like about this big, and in each of the cage they'd have like 10 kittens or like 20 puppies. I remember a lot of the girls got really upset with the sight of it, so we decided to actually buy a few of the ducks, and behind our longhouse where we slept there was some like land which wasn't being used, so we made that into like area for them to like stay in. So that was Bongkud. The camp leader was called Eve. She was really lovely, and then we also worked really closely with Chief, who was actually the chief of the village, so he took care of things on their end, and they were both like really great, and helped us all out a lot. At one point I got conjunctivitis, which was gross, but they took me to the doctors and they like helped me out, and it was so nice. So the second camp we went to was Mantanani Island. This was just off the coast of Kinabalu. They only had like one hotel on it, so there wasn't too many tourists. The camp that we were staying on was actually located on the beach. I remember when I first saw it, I was so excited that we literally could just walk out of our campsite and we could be on the beach. The camp itself had like, I want to say it was like a hut. I don't really know how to describe it, but I put a picture just here. And you had like 3 tiers of bunk beds, and the girls had one like room and the boys had another room, and then a little like hut where we'd eat dinner, and then there was like hammocks and stuff around for us to like chill out on, so that was cool. Oh my god, I'm gonna sneeze again. Bless me. Bless me. Okay guys, because I know you're blessing me from over there, but I can't hear you, so I've got to do it myself. Yeah, so what was I saying? The other thing that we had to do, because our rooms were outside, was we had to always make sure that our bags were closed and zipped up, because otherwise bugs would get into it. And this was proven this one time where I literally forgot to zip up my bag with my toothbrush in it, and I opened it the next morning and this centipede crawled out of it, and I screamed, and I was like, I have to throw that away now. Like, I'm not using that toothbrush. I just threw out the whole bag. Anyway, now you guys know that you should always make sure to zip up your stuff if you're in a country with lots of bugs. So the allotted time to spend on Mantanani Island was actually 2 weeks. The voluntary work that we did there was a little bit different. It was still kind of building, so we were basically building like community toilets. Yeah, pretty much. And the other thing we did, we helped teach for a day, so we taught them like either maths or English. God, it was such a long time ago, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure we did math. And then we got to do PE with them, so we got to do physical education with them. We played a couple of group games with them, and then we also played football, which I'm terrible at. Those kids are awesome. Again, they just take to you straight away, and they're just such a light in life. During the time that we were there, we only get to do a few things, like we got to make coconut oil with like the local ladies, but we didn't get to do too much because of the storm that started in Japan, but it was coming down to Borneo. Of the 2 weeks that we were there, we only actually got to do maybe 3 or 4 days of project work, whereas normally we'd be doing at least 10 days. A couple of the people decided they were going to leave early and left, I think, like 5 days before we were meant to, which was fair enough, and I completely get why, because they just didn't feel like they were doing anything of use on the island, and there was no way, even though we were there, that we could even enjoy it because it was raining so much. You get drenched through the moment you stepped outside. So we were meant to leave the island on a Tuesday, and we were told on that day that actually we were gonna have to be on the island another 5 days, knowing that we weren't going to be able to do anything. and we were all so disappointed. But imagine this storm. It was constantly raining, like torrential rain. It was thundering pretty much all the time. There were gale force winds, and we were stuck in this island where we didn't have any internet connection. We had no way to communicate with the outside world, so my parents didn't know what was happening. And the other thing was, a couple of the people that were on the island with us were actually getting flights within that time. They were like super stressed about it. So the next morning we were told that we need to be ready just in case they could send a boat for us early. So we all made sure we packed our stuff up, but we hadn't heard anything all morning. All really nervous because we're like, okay, maybe we're not going to go back today, maybe we are actually going to have to wait till Sunday. And I think it got to about like 2 o'clock, Ida came in through and let us know that we were going to get a boat today, and we were ecstatic. The only thing was, this boat was literally on the other side of the island. Luckily it stopped raining, the sea was a lot calmer and the wind had died down. It had gone from like torrential rain to insane heat, and we had our like big backpacks on, and this was my first trip, so I didn't know how to pack for these trips. So I packed everything that I want to take, so my bag was so heavy, and we had to walk from one side of the island all the way to the other, and it was horrible, but we made it. We got onto this boat and it was fine. The first like 5 minutes was fine, and then when we got a little bit further out it started to get choppier and choppier, and I swear to God, this whole boat journey back I thought I was gonna throw up. I have never been so happy to be in a city on dry line. So after Mantanani Island, that was our first month up. So the guys that were with us within the first month actually left. It was like nerve-wracking again, because it was kind of like, okay, we know that we got on with that other group well, but what if it's like not the same with this next group of people that came? But we were so lucky that like everybody in that group was awesome too. So Tinangol was our third camp. We got to spend 3 weeks there, so a little bit longer than the other camps. But the place that we stayed itself was, I think it was bigger than the other camps that we were staying in. It was again a longhouse, similar to the one in Bongkud, and we shared rooms again. But between like the longhouse that we stayed in and the kitchen where we ate, which was the front of the camp itself, was quite like a big space. So in between there was like a tennis court that we actually sat on one night and stargazed, which was really, really beautiful. And then there was like a big set of stairs, and you had the toilets and the shower area, etc. So to get to the project work in Tinangol, we actually had to walk quite far. It was like a 45-minute walk if you're walking slowly, and maybe 20 minutes if you like really got the hang of it and were walking quite fast. But it was such a beautiful walk. There were so many like great views, and we saw like monkeys and stuff on the way, so it was really, really cool. But the project work itself was actually painting a kindergarten and doing the varnishing and doing some landscaping behind. So this was kind of a little bit more chilled out. It was a lot more fun. It was less physically draining than the other. The other thing that we got to do is we got to spend like half a day with the kids at the current kindergarten, which the building was a lot smaller than the one that we were painting. So I can see why they wanted to move, because for the amount of children that they had in that village, you definitely needed a bigger space. They were so hyper and energetic, and there were these two little girls, wouldn't let anyone else come near me. They were sitting on my lap, and they're like braiding my hair, and like if anyone else tried to play, then they would be like, no, she's like our friend and not yours, which was really, really funny. And we also did a sports day with them, and we made them lunches. They really liked them. Well, I mean, they ate them, so I assume that they liked them. Either that or they were just like really, really hungry. So, you know, it could go either way. We got to go to a couple of like villages. So we got to go to one that like where a guy was making machetes by hand, and a gong making village, which was really fun. We got to go to the tip of Borneo. So I think my favorite day trip out to Tinangol was definitely going to see the mangroves. I only ever seen them on TV, and with that you don't really realise how massive they are.
I mean, I'm quite tall and I didn't even get up to the end of their roots, like their roots were taller than me. So we had a really good time climbing the trees, but I decided that day to wear like my purple Keds, which if you guys don't know are like very similar to Vans. And by the end of it, they'd gone from purple to this gross brown color and were completely ruined, and I had to like throw them out after that, which sucks, but it was fun. So while editing this, I realized that I hadn't done a conclusion to this video, because originally it wasn't meant to be its own video. So this is going to be the conclusion. So to this day, Borneo is actually still one of my favorite trips I've been on for multiple reasons. The first reason is I could really see the impact that we were having on the local communities that we were helping, and that was amazing. I'd never had that experience before and it was so rewarding. The second reason was because it gave me the confidence to really start traveling by myself. Before this, I'd never gone by myself, and then seeing where other people were going after Borneo made me really want to carry on and explore new places. There is literally nothing about my Borneo trip that I would change, because it really did make me the person I am today. So that's a really nice cheesy way to end this video, I think. Oh, I hate cheese. So that is the end of this video. There is going to be a part 2 to this video, which is about my last part of this trip, and I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Give this video a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Stay safe, stay sane, lots of love, Kesvi.